Welcome back to ESBR Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Danny. We are just hours away from not quite a fight of the year contender, but a fight that a lot of people are looking forward to. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury in Saudi Arabia. We're recording this just a few hours before the fight. Danny, how are you? How are you more excited for the cup final than Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury?
Ever so slightly more excited for the cup final, but I'm looking forward to the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight as well. I have to admit, not because I'm expecting a particularly like a spectacle of high class boxing, but it's been sort of months, if not years, of build up. Big sort of litmus test for them both. So looking forward to it, I have to say, but not as much as seeing United in a couple of hours, obviously.
Yeah. I can't blame you for that. It's just kind of a short one. It's just kind of final thoughts, final prediction from yourself. First question I've got, Danny. Just what did you think of the weigh-in? Kind of both fighters have got very different physiques. Although obviously weighed in at around the same weight. Um,
Yeah.
just general thoughts on what both fighters look like at the weigh-in.
It's a different way in this one because you'd have to imagine they're not boiling down in weight. It's not at an official weight class. You know what I mean? It's at what they both came in like sort of within half a pound or half a 185, wasn't it?
Mm.
So it's not as if any of them is going to look like weight drained or anything like that. In terms of the physiques, like you're spot on, hugely different physiques. Tommy Fury's about 90% of his weight must be in his arms, the longest arms I think I've ever seen, which is obviously a good advantage to boxing. And then Jake Paul's obviously not perhaps as like body beautiful as Tommy Fury, but like he's got a good solid base, he's got strong legs. What that translates as into a clash of styles in a fight or the effects that could have on gas tank or even punch resistance, I'm not too sure, but I don't think there's too much I personally would take from it, but both of them looked in good shape. They're both fit. They've had plenty of time to train, so I don't think that should be an issue.
Yeah, yeah, it's an intriguing one. It's a really. I've looked like I know that earlier in the week, Jake Paul was the bookie's favorite. Last time I had a look, that's not the case anymore. Both fighters are kind of evens to favorite evens just to win. So it's razor thin. I'm seeing some crazy bets around the source. Apparently, Drake has put a lot of money on Jake Paul to win. Most most voices I'm seeing think now that it's come down to the fight, day before the fight day, a lot of people I'm seeing think that Tommy Fury is going to win. Um, Keen to know what your final prediction here is, Danny, and what you expect to see to happen tonight, and how.
Yeah, in the video that me, Elliot, and Owen recorded, I nailed my colours fairly firmly to the Tommy Fury side of things, and I'm going to stick with that. When the fight was first sort of talked about, I wasn't as of a strong opinion as I am now, but I went back and watched like recent fights from both of them. And whilst Tommy Fury has not looked like devastating or brilliant, Jake Paul really does look quite poor a lot of the time. I know he's got some decent wins over like combat sports athletes, but he's never really had it stuck on him properly. The only time he's ever been really caught clean was by Woodley, and he looked like he didn't know what to do. And then Woodley just has like completely took the back step and not really pressured him. So I'm not sure. I think in terms of what the fight looks like, I think it'll either go one of two ways. I think Tommy Fury will just sort of jab the head off him the first two or three rounds. He's got decent footwork as well, and that'll be too much for Jake Paul to deal with, and then eventually he'll break him down that way. Or Tommy will maybe let the occasion get them slightly and start falling in behind his work and become quite scrappy, a lot of holding, not a lot landing cleanly. But even if that is the case, I would still favour Fury to be stronger than him and to
Mm.
break him down and stop him that way. I just don't think he would maybe look as good doing it. But those are the sort of two visual looks I see the fight taking, and both I think Fury will stop him.
Yeah, interesting. I think I'm siding with you. However, I think one thing I would say is, will Tommy Fury freeze under
Mm.
kind of the big stage? Jake Paul, to be fair to him, he's been in some big fights. He's boxed in front of very large crowds. He's been the main event. However many times Tommy Fury's never been the main event. Tommy
Yeah.
Fury, I didn't realize how young he still is. He's still only 23 years old. He's still a very young man. that's the one way I can see Jake Paul winning is Tommy Fury just completely freezing. You know, he's got his brother, the heavyweight champion of the world, behind him, his dad barking at him. People like, Cristiano Ronaldo are in attendance. He gets into that ring and kind of freezes, and Jake Paul doesn't. That's one way I can see Jake Paul winning. However, I'm going the same way as you, Danny. Final question from me. Not asking for an impression, but if you were Big John Fury, what advice are you giving to Tommy Fury moments before the first bell? Are you telling him to stay cool, start aggressive? What not what you think John Fury's going to say, but what would you be saying to him?
I definitely won't do an impression in case I ever bump into Big John at a fight week anywhere. I would say just start behind your jab, just jab, jab, jab. That's don't as I say, don't fall in behind your work, don't rush it. Settle into the fight. That's a very good point you make on the dealing with the pressure and the potential for freezing, because the jump from where he's been to this in terms of eyeballs is absolutely huge. Like one of the biggest I would imagine a fighter's ever sort of made. So that's what I would say. He obviously will be nervous going into it. So just don't try anything fancy. Don't get caught with anything big. Jake Paul won't throw anything big early. He'll be nervous as well. So I would tell him just get behind your jab the first round. Don't worry about power punches, and then slowly start to break him down, go head and body. And once you start pushing him back, don't let him off the hook, would be my uneducated advice. But what Big John's going to say, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, we'll see, and we will leave things there, Danny. Thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of people are. Where they wanted to admit they're excited or not is a different thing. But yeah, we will see what happens later. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury happens tonight on BT Sport Box Office. Danny, thank you very much for your time, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay.
No bother, Elliot. Thanks.